It was an impressive gathering. There was Jean-Baptiste Lafond, all grace and skill, and the amazing pace of Laurent Caban. Hastings, the very name conjures up heroic deeds. Another Scot, Craig Chalmers, was also there. So was Jeff Probyn, the immovable object. Would he be irresistible to England selectors? Rory Underwood is certain of his place in any side. And brother Tony has the same talent to excite and entertain. Neil Back out to prove once again that if you're good enough, you're big enough. And Dean Richards, once again, was just Dean Richards. Leicester, with their captain John Wells fit again after injury, were close to full strength, the only absentee being Adel Cardouni, who was replaced at scrum half by Darren Grucock. 11 cap players in the Barbarian side, including 3 Frenchmen, the Lafond brothers, Jean-Baptiste and Jean-Marc, and on the flank, Laurent Caban, whose duel with Neil Back promised to be one of the highlights.
Scottish international referee Jim Fleming prepares to start the 74th match between Leicester and the Barbarians. The Barbars leading 39-29, and over the last decade these matches have averaged 50 points a game. Number 8 for the Barbarians, Eric Peters, the successful varsity captain for Cambridge University. And number 5, Andy Lloyd, the big lock from Moseley, said to be interesting Wales. Matt Poole at E for Leicester. A good drive from the Tigers, Dean Richards in the middle of it. And Grucock, the late replacement for Cardouni, who's still in the Middle East. Rory Underwood. And a huge roar as Dino gathers it in. Grucock. Back to Jez Harris. Jez Harris, one of the utility players in the Leicester side, great servant of the club. John Olver to throw. And nicely tapped back by Damien Cronin, but eluded Bates. And Jeff Probyn onside, says Jim Fleming. And Laurent Caban adding his weight. Bates and Chalmers immediately, they run it. Gavin Hastings in the line, out here to Harvey Thornycroft, handing off Tony Underwood. But Leicester steal it, and Harris to Grucock, to Dean Richards. Support there from Neil Back. Grucock again. This is John Lively, the full-back. Not the best of chip forward, but the bounce eludes Gavin Hastings, and Lively going to follow up, and Lively! John Lively opens the scoring. Well, it looked fairly innocuous until Gavin Hastings, the Barbar skipper, took one look at Bates, and they both missed it. And, well, was there a little knock-on before he grounded it? Lively will attempt the conversion. From in front of the posts, no problem at all. Here was the little kick, seemingly to nowhere. Gavin Hastings looked to have this totally covered, but made the mistake of letting it bounce, and Lively was onto it very quickly. But did he knock on here before he grounded it? The referee didn't spot it. Bates, Chalmers, Walker. Jean-Baptiste, Jean-Marc, Hastings outside him. The Scottish skipper arriving at speed, faced by Lively, and barging just straight through Lively. Well, he is a big, powerful man, and Lively guilty of going a little high, but it did enough to force the Barbars captain into touch. That's Steve Lloyd, the big Moseley lock, born in Montevideo. John Olver has it, number 2, and Mark Linnett. And Eric Peters just tidying it and setting up the little drive, and it's Linnett. Goes through Grucock. And Darren Garforth, I think it was, caught offside. And quickly taken, and can he ground it? No, held up. Just couldn't get it down. Lloyd, the big second row, held up and forced onto his side. It's a nice little bit of football from Neil Back. Coming back to Grucock. Harris. No way through the centre. Harris going blind now to Grucock. Liley's outside him, but he goes instead to Neil Back. And just when Rory Underwood thought he might have escaped, the whistle has gone for a knock-on. Nice to see the two Underwood brothers playing together. It's John Wells who stood off, and here's Liley. Got Tony Underwood outside him. Good injection of pace. Neil Back can gather the pass. Support there from Garforth, the prop. 5 metres out, and it's getting closer all the time. Can they get it over? But the Barbarians, through Mark Linnett, have somehow managed to smuggle the ball clear. But John Liley, little injection of pace. Chalmers. Liley unable to prevent that one reaching touch, thinking of the quick throw in, and does so. To Tony Underwood, who's on the wrong wing from somewhere, gets support inside from Wells. Grucock, Harris, Bates looking for the little break. Support again from Harris. Grucock working the blind side. This is Back. Liley, and in the corner is the skipper, John Wells, after 23 minutes. Been out of action for 6 games with a broken hand, but no more popular scorer here at Welford Road. This was Neil Back keeping the ball alive, and Liley, who's had a fine game, appearing at the right moment, and a flanker in the right position. Leicester lining up out there, and Neil Back did well because he took that one standing still, but the little inside shimmy created the space outside. Craig Chalmers with the restart. 12 points to 0 is the Leicester lead. Matt Poole going in there but losing out. But this is Cockrell, the hooker. Support from Neil Back, who's everywhere. 25 minutes have gone. Grucock out to Harris. Potter. Bates. Tony. Rory Underwood going for that far corner. Difficult to know which of the Underwoods, both of them were on the left wing then, but it was indeed Rory. There was Tony being missed out in the centre. And Rory having the run, but well taken out by Hastings and by Jean-Marc Lafond. Laurent Caban, number 7, with the heavy knee strapping. One of the few successes in the French side in the last 5 Nations season. And back there and winning, but again the a bit of teamwork didn't work. Peters it was on the peel. A terrific drive by the Tigers. Really the advantage of the club side against the scratch outfit. It's Cockrell, the hooker, giving it back to Grucock. Harris has got back outside him. Back having a tremendous match. The man the English selectors think is too small. Grucock, Harris, Bates, Potter, the former Nottingham player, driving on, eventually nailed by Olver. Cockerell again looking to smuggle the hooker, wearing B. Grucock, Harris, Dean Richards. Jeff Probyn crouching around on the offside, and Jez Harris with the drop goal, and he's just missed it. Disappointment for the outside half. And the touch judge on the far side, you may recognise Simon Halliday, former England and Bath wing and centre, doing the honours, and of course ended his career at the Quins. And Caban getting a lot of ball, and a lovely little dummy, beats everybody. And here's a great chance for the Barbars if they can get quick ball. Olver driving across. Leicester penalised for being offside. So what's Gavin Hastings going to do here? Is he going to get some points on the board, or is he going to go for a try? He's going to go for the points. And he's calling up his fellow Scot, Craig Chalmers. Ten minutes remain of the first half, and Chalmers has a comparatively easy task to get the Barbars' first points on the board. Melrose in Scotland. 3 points it is. 12-3 then. Elementary, my dear Watson. Harris. Rory Underwood, lightly outside him, but Rory going to go on his own. Oh, if only the pass could have gone to hand. But how many times have we said that in this first half? This was the incisive break from England's record try scorer. Damien Crennan just losing out to Johnson at the front as we move into added time in this first half. Thornycroft in from the left wing, but again it breaks down in midfield. Rory Underwood taken to ground by Thornycroft. Grucock, Harris, Bates, Wells making vigorous progress once more, with the rest of the pack arriving. There's it back for Grucock, sniping. Roundtree there. Dean Richards also taken on by Poole. Grucock, Bates, Potter, they've worked it clear to Rory Underwood. The left wing scores in the right corner. And a third try for Leicester. Matt Poole did some good wrestling on the floor, and it was Bates, the half dummy, saw the half break, and once he'd made that half break there was always an overlap, and Rory in from the left wing. And this was the moment here when Bates just drew his man and made the half break, and after that it was all plain sailing. Riley attempting the conversion, attempting it right-footed, and he's just pulled it too much. The first half ends with the Tigers in total command. 17 points to 3 they lead, and 3 tries to 0 is the try count. Jez Harris, the Leicester fly half, gets the second half underway with his side 17-3 in front. So a lot for the Barbarians to do if they're to continue a winning streak. There's a loose boot going in on Steve Bates. That could have been a bit painful. Jeff Probyn again. He's played scrum half and fly half now. Rory Underwood turns. To his brother Tony, who took his eye off the ball. It's a comedy of errors just at the moment. Peters controls. Bates back to Peters, who was dumped unceremoniously. Barbar's managed to salvage it, Mark Lynette. But again, they're in danger of losing possession, and they do. And back. Cockrell, Wells, Richards. Tony Underwood emerges with the ball, and eventually it's in touch. Well, Grucock did well, and here goes Cockrell. 15 metres out, 10 metres out, 5 metres out, onto the line and down for the try. It's the front row, but which one of them? Looks like Garforth. They were all there. Cockrell the hooker, and Garforth it was, who was there in support and got support and was driven over. He's only managed one conversion so far. How about this one? He's got a low shooter, but effective. So Leicester are absolutely clear at 24 points to 3. Poole with the initial charge, and Cockrell's done well in the loose. Very high from Thornycroft. But notice how he popped it up to his prop, and the other prop, Roundtree, adding the weight and stretching out to ground, and Mr. Fleming in perfect position. Harris receives from Grucock. Gavin Hastings can do no more than watch it run into touch. Harvey Thornycroft getting the first real run. Support from Damien Cronin. Lafond, Jean-Baptiste, Rory Underwood back on the cover. No doubt who was going to win that race. But at last the Barbarians opening out and producing some of their special blend of rugby. That's Leicester's 22. Neil Bank, the latest man with a bit of blood on the face. Whoops! Oh dear, Damien Cronin and Johnson. Nathan Johnson getting involved. Tim Rodber on the drive, but the close support not really there. Bates gets it again. Lloyd Walker, Gavin Hastings, and Jean-Marc Lafond. Can he get to the corner? Well, sneaky. Nice little duck inside, a little bit of French flair. I think he may have hurt his shoulder as he went down, or his elbow. Oh, no, it was his ear. Well, they missed out Jean-Baptiste, Lloyd Walker, and it was Gavin Hastings arriving to make the extra man, and Jean-Marc is not the quickest. It looked as if they were going to get to him until that little shimmy in his own momentum took him over for the first Barbarian try. And so another Gavin Hastings there gave Lafond the space, and it was this little duck down that allowed him to escape the covering of Grucock. back, and Richards working the little back row wedge. And up to the 10-metre line. Grewcock says drive on. And his forwards oblige. Now out to Harris. A kick for the corner. If the bounce is kind, it'll be a fine one. But Hastings has time to get it into Bates. He's got Jean-Marc Lafond to his left. And uses him. Oh, dear me. I think Jean-Marc would have preferred that he didn't. Desperate moments for the Barbarians. Grewcock waiting. Again, the front row heavily involved. Cockerell, Grewcock, Jez Harris. Wheeled back. But there perhaps his lack of physique and sheer size. But a penalty has been awarded, must have been for offside, almost in front of the posts. And this is a different version of the huddle. Of course, Grewcock, brought in at the last moment, may not be familiar with the first team moves, and it's eventually ended up at Garforth. And he fancies another try. Does the tight head prop? Tin Rodber and Cockerell getting to know each other a little better. I think the army officer would fancy putting him on a few days' jankers. The Barbars' front row is a pretty formidable one, all English internationals. Jeff Probyn on this side, John Olver, and Mark Burnett on the loose head. They can indeed disrupt. Can they drive over? And the try is given for Grewcock. Well, the man called in at the last moment. Good servant of the club, playing only his 21st first team game in a long career at Welford Road. And it was the surge that disrupted. And look at him emerging. Of course, as soon as the ball is on the line or over it, all you've got to do is dive in it. The scrum is deemed dead, and you can dive into the middle of it. So a great moment for Baron Grewcock. And now surely Liley can be successful with this conversion attempt. He can indeed. And Leicester have passed the 30-point mark. 31 points to 8, their biggest ever score against the Barbarians. 43-4 in 1974. And they'll be looking, one suspects now, to better that. They've still got 18 minutes of the match remaining. I think there are one or two people around the world who might dispute that. There's this Leicester front row. Roundtree, Cockerell and Garforth have certainly made their presence felt. Chalmers, they miss out Walker. Thornycroft. Well tackled there by Potter. Bates at the second attempt. Gavin Hastings, Jean-Marc Lafond, can he find support? He can, this time I think from Rodber. Can the Barbarians keep the movement alive? Chalmers, Lloyd Walker, looking for support inside. This time this is better from the Barbarians. Peters, Thornycroft. 24 minutes of the second half gone, and it's the Northampton wing who gets the Barbarians' second try. Cabin appearing in midfield, and Peters taking that nice little inside pass from Chalmers and freeing Thornycroft. Going for the back again, but Dean Richards wise to the old tricks, and Dino on the charge. still going. Poole it is burrowing in there. The front row, Garforth. Grucock coming left. Too high for Neil Back. So not such a successful moment, and the Barbars quick to counter. Jean-Marc Lafond. And this is John Olver. Oh, great skills from the hooker. Oh, but he needed support rather than losing the ball. Jeff Probyn sees a little gap and goes burrowing off. Probyn, Jean-Marc Lafond again. Well, there were at least 2 or 3 suggestions of a knock-on there, which is why the applause is mixed with some good-natured jeering. But a second try for Jean-Marc Lafond. And here was Jeff Probyn playing scrum half, and it looked as if for a time he was going to go all the way. It would have been a popular score, but I don't think he felt he could outrun Tony Underwood. And so Jean-Marc Lafond gets his second try and the Barbarians third. Well, the Leicester front row penalised for taking the scrum down. Another decision of Mr. Fleming that the Welford Road faithful are not too happy with, but the Barbarians will run it. This is Rodber. But again, Back steals possession. Neil Back, can he go all the way, get support? 5 metres short. Back again, picks up, sniping, close home. Oh, 1 metre short now. Was Lloyd coming over illegally, surely? Yes. Steve Lloyd, the big Moseley lock, deciding it better to kill the ball than to see the opposition have third phase possession. Oh, Leicester are going to go for 3 points. Well, not the most popular of decisions that John Wells has ever made. There's Neil Back, who got so close a couple of times. Although, it has to be said, he's looked a little short at the back of the line-out. Liley lands the penalty. And Leicester 34-18 in front. And just over 5 minutes of the match remain. Now then, what can the Barbarians make of this through Gavin Hastings? Craig Chalmers, a bit wide the pass, and again the knock-on, but the first knock-on was by a Leicester hand, says Mr. Fleming. No advantage accrued to the Barbarians, so they'll get the scrummage. The front row is clearly enjoying themselves. Bates, Chalmers, puts out Walker. Fond off on his one of his little runs to nowhere in particular, but at least finds touch inside the 22. Jean-Baptiste Lafond. Leicester opening it out from in front of their own posts. Tony Underwood, Potter, Rory Underwood. Liley clear on the left wing. Great stuff from Leicester. Thornycroft's back. Tony Underwood. Oh, the try of the match. The try of the match. Great score from Leicester from their own 22. No wonder delight on crowd and players' faces alike. A magnificent score. This was the moment they opened out. The missed pass in the middle, Tony round from the right wing. His brother Rory making the half break through Jean-Baptiste Lafond. Liley taking it on. And as Thornycroft came across to cover the inside pass, back to Tony Underwood. Try is converted. So the Leicester lead 41 points to 18. They won 48 points to 30 in 1987, so we've some way to go to reach that aggregate. That was 78 points. We have 59 so far. One last flourish from the Barbarians, perhaps. Walker on the loop. Lafond. Support from Rodber. Craig Chalmers, an individual burst to Gavin Hastings. Will he go all the way? Grucock trying to get there. He won't catch the Barbarian captain. A try in the penultimate minute of the match for the Barbarian and Scotland skipper. And it was the individual brilliance this time of Craig Chalmers and the Scottish combination working perfectly. So Craig Chalmers takes over the duties for trying the conversion and is no more successful. And that is the last kick of the match. Leicester have won by 41 points to 23. Another festival game of running rugby. Rory Underwood played his full part. Dean Richards. Neil Back was prominent. Wells, the winning skipper. John Olver, Damien Cronin. Tim Rodber. Another festive occasion, another feast of tries. But on this occasion, the club side were too tight, particularly in the tight for the scratch side. Leicester the winners by 41 points to 23.